It's midday right here in Lagos, Nigeria. Welcome to Lunchtime Politics. I'm Jeffrey Uzama. Let's bring you up to speed with the big happenings in politics and in the polity at midday. Good news as Dangote refinery reduces its ex-gantry petrol price to 1,075 naira per litre, a 100 naira drop from the previous rates of 1,175 naira per litre as the conflict in Iran continues. And while the clock ticks on PDP party primaries, Turaki-led group weighs options over continuous litigations as the Wike group, Saraki and others call for reconciliation to beat the time. Thanks again for joining us on the program where we give you that all-access pass to what's playing out in politics and in the polity. And we can tell you there's a lot of politics to talk about today, especially that has to do with the PDP since that appeal court judgment happened. In fact, the Turaki-led group of the BOT are actually meeting. We are on our devices checking out what the updates will be as far as that is concerned. But let's talk about what concerns all of us generally, and that has to do with the Dangote refinery reducing its ex-gantry petrol price to 1,075 naira per litre, marking the first price cut after 3 consecutive or successive hikes that had pushed the costs of the commodity significantly higher in recent weeks. According to the refinery's latest pricing template released on Tuesday, the reduction represents a 100 naira drop from the previous rate of 100 or 1,175 naira per litre. The refinery also announced that the petrol supply through coastal distribution will now sell for 1,050 naira per litre. The price of diesel has equally been revised downward, falling to 1,430 naira per litre, a 190 naira reduction from the prior price of 1,620 naira per litre. The company noted that the quoted gantry prices exclude statutory charges imposed by the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Agency, that's NNDPRA. Tuesday's reduction comes after a run of sharp upward adjustments. On Monday, the refinery raised petrol price to 1,175 naira per litre, up from 99 or 995 naira per litre on March the 7th, and 874 naira per litre on March the 2nd. Increases attributed to the surge in global crude oil prices triggered by the ongoing conflict involving the United States, Iran, and Israel. Let's not talk about that leadership crisis in the People's Democratic Party that may continue to linger as the 2 contending groups, which are the Abdurrahman Mohammed Caretaker Committee, loyal to Nyesom Wike, and Tanimu Turaki, the National Working Committee, continue to claim leadership of the party. At 2 separate meetings held in Abuja, the Abdurrahman Mohammed Caretaker Committee of the PDP insists that the judgment of the court of Monday validates his leadership and urges members to go ahead with plans for the National Convention to elect principal officers for the party. However, both the PDP Board of Trustees, led by former President of the Senate, Mr. Adolphus Wabara, and the governors of Oyo and Bauchi states regard the judgment as a reawakening call, appealing to members not to despair.
We need to talk to the judgment of yesterday. This time around, in fact, the board considers the judgment an order for the party to begin again.
The judgment of the Court of Appeal, Abuja Division yesterday, it becomes imperative that our leaders must sit and then consider the situation on the ground and then come up with workable and implementable options that will save this party.
This period will also go away. It will pass away. So whatever role we want to play as individuals and collectively as a party, we must be conscious of what history is going to record against or for us.
Several ideas, legal, social, political, emotional,
came up as to how to ensure that these two things happen. Number one, that PDP does not die. Number two, that PDP will be on the ballot. The discussions will continue tomorrow, and at that point, we are certain that firmer approaches to achieving this will have been attained.
We are all at the appeal court, and the court delivered a judgment on 9 appeals in our favor. I want to make it clear at this time that the National Caretaker Working Committee remains the only national leadership recognized by the law and the party.
We decided to wait for the appeal court judgment. And like the chairman has clearly said, the appeal court has given mandate for this national committee to continue the affairs of the party. So by the time we get the enrollment order of the party by today tomorrow, we shall move back to our normal
So we decided to allow you see through all of the comments that were made by the pro-Wike and pro-Makinde end of the conversation. And the big question is, will the People's Democratic Party be on the ballot in the next election? Because April the 23rd up to May the 30th is all they have to be able to produce candidates for the next election. And when they join, if they're able to sort themselves out, would they be participating in that election or they will be contending? Well, my guest will answer that question, but I'll bring him back to issues that concern the generality of Nigerians before we get to core political conversation. My guest is Joshua Gana. He is a member of the House of Representatives representing Lavon Mokwa Adati Federal Constituency from Niger State. Honorable Gana, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Honorable Gana, before we go to the issues around your party, let's talk about what is of importance to Nigeria as well, or Nigerians, that has to do with the PMS price. We've now seen, because of the conflict in Iran, of course, the price of crude oil has gone up significantly, though it has come down to less than 100. At the beginning of the week, it went all the way to almost $120 per barrel. But we've also seen some movement from the Dangote refinery, but there are complaints from his end to the effect that on one hand is insufficient supply because what he gets from Nigeria through the NNPCL is less than maybe 50% of what he gets to be able to service his refinery. That means he buys the rest abroad, and premium upon premium, even the ones that he buys locally, and then middlemen. What do you make of the situation of the oil and gas sector, nexusing it with what is happening with the pump price of petroleum?
Yeah, it's important to note that when things happen in the global market, we will see the effects in our local market. And this is a clear example from what the current war in Iran has now caused in the oil prices. Unfortunately, we have seen that affecting the price of petroleum products here, and that directly affects Nigerians. It will affect our cost of living, cost of food, because this movement of goods and services will be hiked. And this will bring untold hardship on our current earnings as Nigerians. And so, given the time we are in, Ramadan is ongoing, the Lenten season is ongoing, where religious, both religions, Christians and Muslims, are fasting and praying, and they're seeing this kind of challenge on the economy. Is a time to really reflect and see how the current government of the day can intervene in order to cushion the effect that will be felt by Nigerians. And like many people would have said, the principle that there should have been a reserve so that when there are these kinds of global effects that might hit our economy, the reserve price would have been managing the current price that we had and the inflated price that has come because of the war in Iran. So it would have been able to cushion within 6 months to 12 months so that there is price stabilization so that the government is seen to have intervened, and the Nigerians would have enjoyed a steady price even when these global realities have hit the economy. But unfortunately, we don't seem to have those reserves in place to cushion this effect, and that now will bring untold hardship on all Nigerians, including us that are representing people in parliament and in the nation today. So my prayer is that the government will put their tin caps on, since there are no reserves to cushion managing the price stability during this effect, global effect. They should look for other sources of stabilizing the price. Because like the saying goes, when things go up in pricing in Nigeria, it never comes down. So I want to thank Dangote and his team that even when the prices started going down, we saw that translate to the prices he reduced currently. And we expect that as the prices keep going down, when the situation is managed globally, we'll see that our pump prices come back to normal in Nigeria.
Yeah, no, Gana, we hope to see even more, because you know, this is a two-edged sword. On one hand, we're making more money because we sell crude in the international market and the local market to people like Dangote. So we're seeing, although we're not producing enough, but the consumption, the consumers like you and I are bearing the brunt of hiking price. But also on the other hand, we've also seen some $20 billion Bonga Southwest Aparo Deepwater project that will be coming upstream if all the final investments are sorted, because the president has actually approved the fiscal incentive to make that happen. And this hasn't happened since maybe like 2008. They've been on this for a long while because it's a huge investment. It's a petroleum sharing contract that we may see being activated, say maybe sometime in 2027, maybe potentially giving us an additional 150,000 barrels per day, so that this annualized 1.4 to 1.5 million barrels we do, that has never moved significantly the way we want. I mean, crude oil, not condensate. We should be able to see that so that we can make even more money to incentivize consumers like you and I. But let's move down from there to politics. Your party, on one hand, some groups are rejoicing. The Yeson Wike group, the Abdurrahman group, the Samalayan, you can see from that track, they say this is victory for them. They're not calling for reconciliation. But the Turaki group, Bala Mohammed, Sheikh Makinde, the governors, they are sitting right now as we speak to know what's the next line of action. Because time is of the essence. We have about just a few weeks to April the 23rd, and that window opens April 23rd, closes May the 30th for candidates to emerge. I guess you also want to continue in your office. And this is quite critical as well for anybody who wants to run for office on the platform of the People's Democratic Party. So the PDP, the other group, the Wike group, is calling for reconciliation, where we haven't known yet the final position of the Turaki group as they are meeting as we speak right now. If you were to be in the room where this conversation is going on, Saraki, the former Senate president, Senator Saraki, has said, "Shoot your sword. We don't have time. Can we stop litigation so that we have people in the election?" What would you be advising? Continuous litigation or to find a middle ground?
Thank you very much. I'm going to be standing re-election. I want to reconfirm that. And of course, wisdom demands that we find a middle ground between the two groups and forge ahead for the electoral timetable that is already out. And so I want to believe in our leadership, the leadership of both sides. They are mature. They know the realities. They all have followers at different levels of government, from the Senate to the House of Representatives to House of Assembly to local council, councillors and chairmen in their states. And of course, because those have followed them loyally, they will not want to jeopardize their chances. And so I believe the leadership of both groups will sit down to reconcile. That is my prayer, that reconciliation, given the timing, given the environment, given the realities on the ground, given that PDP is the longest standing party with credible leadership, I want to believe the organs that we have within our party will be brought to play to ensure that all grievances, all things that have not been agreed on both sides that caused this litigation will be amicably resolved in time for us to be able to move forward together. Why am I saying this? We have seen the number of PDP governors that have left for the ruling party. And it's a very painful thing to watch in our time as younger generations of leaders to see that happen. And we only have two major ones now, Governor Makinde and Governor Bala of Bauchi remaining. And the caliber of all those that had left, we have counted it to be the same with the current ones that have remained. And so there are friendlies on both sides of the table. And so we believe it's easy enough for them to sit down. The BOT of the party has met, and those are the elders and the conscience of the party. And within what they have experienced over time, I'm sure they will speak to the goodwill of the current governors remaining in our party to say the best way moving forward to accommodate everyone is to go for reconciliation. In a political party like ours, litigation, going to the court to settle a political problem is certainly not the right way. But we have come to this point. A political dissolution is the best solution moving forward. And that is to reconcile, amend, and move forward, because we already have a timetable for all of us who are party faithfuls to stand and to continue to represent our people properly. So I will go and I will support that there should be reconciliation given the time so that all can come together, and whatever is remaining to be done, which are costly with the passing of the current Electoral Act, we see that we have limited time and we need to catch up. And I think sitting down through one night and reconciling will solve the problem than to go for further litigation.
I'm going to put you on the spot on two things, but let me start with the first. The first thing, part of the problem here is not just litigation, it's a moral problem. Nyesom Wike, who is the leader of the other group, he's openly declared for the president, and he's not apologetic about it. I interviewed the governor of Zamfara State on May the 5th, Governor Dauda Lawal, who had assured, while I kind of asked him, do you think this is going to be over? I said, I should quote him on that day that this is going to be over. And the other day, he's defecting. We've said he's going to be defecting. Everything is sorted. When it comes, he's going to do all the defection properly. Now, one of the releases he made was to the effect that after that appeal court judgment, that was it. He could no longer take. He has to move to somewhere maybe his future will be secured, which is a very strong reason for him. So I'm going to this with a question. Having known the position of the leader of the other group, are you ready to work with that group? What if they choose not to give you a ticket because of the fightings that you guys have been through in all of this?
Well, they will look at the realities on the ground. Some of us are the competent candidates that have been tested, have won elections. I won my election, went through the ruling party, took us to court, and there was a ruling from the then tribunal, electoral tribunal, that we should go for a rerun. And I contested that judgment in the appeal court and got my mandate back, and I'm still in the party today. So that milestone that we'll be able to achieve is credited to what our party stands for today. You wouldn't want such a candidate or a party man to go elsewhere to start building that for another party. It's better to retain such a person and move forward. So it's about the party, it's not about the personality. And I believe if they want a party that can stand elections in the future against the ruling party, the best today we have is the People's Democratic Party. And we're poised and we're ready, if this reconciliation happens, to move forward. You have said if they don't choose me, it's not about that. The new Electoral Act now stands for direct primaries or
And
consensus. So if I'm sure that either of the direct primaries from all the polling units in my constituency, Joshua Gana will emerge. By consensus in Niger State, Joshua Gana will emerge. Because I'm a party faithful man, I come from one of the families that founded this party. And so heaven is on my side, history is on my side, my hard work is on my side, my diligence and loyalty is on my side. Why would you want to trade that for someone else that doesn't have any of those qualities? And so either side, I am good to go as a candidate for the People's Democratic Party.
All right.
I'm telling you, this either side you're talking about are one and the same person. So it's only for them to sit down.
Honorable Gana, let me.
2-hour meeting sitting down will solve the problem.
All right, Honorable Gana, let me butt in, and we'll be back after this short break. So some more questions that I will need answers for. Stay with us. Welcome back. My guest, Honorable Joshua Gana, is a member of the House of Representatives representing Lavon Mokwa Edati Federal Constituency from Niger State. Honorable, thank you for staying with us. As we speak, some members of your party in the House of Representatives, your colleagues, are moving from PDP, Labour Party, into the APC. So the APC is swelling by the day. 81 senators as we speak. PDP is left with 17. Then the others are about 11, 31 governors. We have Accord 1, ABGA 1, PDP 2. So this is one of the record high. We've seen this era before under the PDP, and this is where people are raising concerns about one-party state. Where I'm going to with all of this is to the effect that it looks like the only thing that may look like contention may be the ADC, even though they did terribly, they did poorly at the FCT area council election. Do you think that the PDP in this election will be contending, or it's just going to be a question of participation? Presidential election, I mean.
Okay. For the presidential election, if there's a reconciliation done and we move forward, of course, a convention will hold for the election of the party leadership. And then Nigerians who believe in that platform are free to come and purchase the form to run for presidency under the flagship of PDP. And whoever wins can go to the general elections. So it's not the flagship of our presidential candidate is not skewed to one person. It's open to the whole public, the Nigerians that feel they are competent and they want to come and serve humanity and come there. They are welcome to the People's Democratic Party. Go to our processes according to our constitution and our manifesto as a party, and take their agenda to move Nigeria forward and contest against the ruling party. So yes, I believe if this reconciliation holds, all party seats will be advertised for those to express interest and come and stand for party primaries and move forward to the general elections, to their campaigns and to general elections.
Now,
but the way things have been explained is as if it's only tied to certain people that are eligible to run for president. No. We have young people that might want to stand and start their, I'm not too young to run. That kind of thing. So given what Nigeria is going through, there are competent people home and abroad, Nigerians who will return and say, yes, I'm ready to stand on this platform for elections. And they are welcome to come to the People's Democratic Party. So I'm not discouraged the safety net. Everyone is moving because of the crisis that have been happening. But then, do everyone leave because of crisis? Some of us have grown all the years in this party. We will stand and make sure that the party remains formidable and
all right,
welcoming to
Honorable.
all Nigerians to join. Yes.
Honorable Gana, yes, I know that, of course, the run into the APC looks, of course, most stable party right now, predictable, besides other things that they are being accused of. But in closing, it is clear that they are in the supermajority in both chambers of the National Assembly. Let me use the Senate, for instance. Under Ahmed Lawan, they were seen as a rubber stamp National Assembly, and then the people are now saying that under the Senator Gospel Akpabio and the rest of the National Assembly, they've taken the rubber stamp stature a notch higher. So what are you going to be doing as a National Assembly, as opposition, to be able to even move any needle at all?
Well, there must be a balance when it comes to a nation like Nigeria with multicultural, multi-religious sets of people. And we can see that because of the safety net of going to the ruling party, it's not an assurance that you're going to get the ticket to even contest. The ruling party is now over-bloated. If there were 5 candidates before, because of the movement of many people there are more than 20 running for 1 seat. So that's an implosion going to happen. And we'll see how they'll resolve all those issues when they go to their convention that is coming up, and when they go through their own consensus and the party primaries, where they are sitting governors or the governors that moved with their people who want to impose those that were loyal to them and followed them, and those who are in those parties that came to join, who have been loyal to their party, who also shout for their own mandates that they must be treated fairly. For me, let PDP organize. You'll soon see a big movement from the ruling party back to PDP. And we'll sweep the next elections.
We can't wait. The time is very short. We'll get to see how all of this play out. Thank you for your comment on the program.
The next 3 weeks is the window. We'll see how it happens.
We're here. Our job is just to report.
Once the ruling party's convention holds, and you see the disgruntled members, PDP will receive.
All right, Honorable, we're totally out of time. My director is literally on my neck. Joshua Gana is a member of House of Reps, Lavon Mokwa, Edati Federal Constituency. That's where he represents in the House of Reps. Thank you, sir. We appreciate it.
Thank you for the time. Cheers.
And that's it on the program. Thanks for your time and company. You've been served on Lunchtime Politics. I'm Jeffrey Uzoma. Bye-bye.